I'm Joshua Parker, known as DJ Parker, and this is Unique Beatz Studio. You're here for another Parker radio show.
Hey everybody, let's go. I'm hoping that you're ready for another episode. You know we play that music in the UB studio. And now it's time to welcome everybody to the Parker radio show. Everybody, let's go. I'm hoping that you're ready for another episode. You know we play that music in the UB studio. And now it's time to welcome everybody to the Parker radio show.
How we doing out there, everybody? We're here for another Parker radio show, here live at Unique Beatz Studio. With special thanks to our nation's finest, thank you for your service. Want Target relief fast? Now you can enjoy the best-selling One Less CBD Tropical Inflammation Cream. Get yours for free, plus shipping. Limited time offer. Go to www.onelesscbd.com/UB-radio. It is August 23rd, and we're back here for another Parker radio show. And I want to say thanks to all of our listeners. Such an amazing support system. Again, you can follow us on our YouTube channel at Unique Beatz for all upcoming interviews. Feel free to reach us at uniquebeatz03@gmail.com with your submissions. All we ask is that you send your press kit along with MP3s or WAV format to the Unique Beatz platform. Again, that is uniquebeatz03@gmail.com. And either Julie or myself will get in touch with you to schedule an appointment. We have some great artists on the lineup for this week, and I have a special guest today hailing from the Glen of Emerald, West Wicklow. She is an upcoming recognized star. Her songwriting and music genre is best described as countrypolitan. Her love of music was evident from early childhood, with a mic in her hand regularly from family get-togethers to school events. In 2019, she won the NPA Plowing for the Stars Singer Competition, which resulted in supporting one of the country's music stars, Mike Denver's shows. Post-COVID, she was taking bookings for weddings, events through Ireland. Currently a third-level music student at MTU Cork School of Music. She hopes to reach #1 on the iTunes country music charts with her latest single, Scars of My Heart, with further inspiration in touring the music scene throughout the U.S. Let's give it up for Kendal Moody singing Scars of My Heart, here on the Parker Radio Show, powered by Unique Beatz.
Summer's gone so fast, I'm losing people I never had. But in the bottom of a glass lies hope. Choose to love me or baby don't. Either way I'll learn to grow, for I can't write words you never spoke. But out of all the scars of my heart, I never knew you'd cut so far. And although time has now torn us apart, I'm going back to the start. And most days I think of it, we were underneath deciduous, with the rain pouring down on our skin. And we both know we had something, kept this our little secret. You tell me everything now so open. But once the rain cleared, you ended it. You went back to her, I slowed back to him. But I guess it's never over, is it? 'Cause out of all the scars of my heart, I never knew you'd cut so far. And although summer wind. When you said I think it's for the best, I can't afford to play pretend, and left me with a hole in my chest. 'Cause out of all the scars of my heart, I never knew you'd cut so far. And although time has now torn us apart, I'm going back to the start. 'Cause out of all the scars of my heart, I never knew you'd cut so far. And although time has now torn us apart, I'm going back to the start. I'm where you left my heart.
Let's start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you became to love music.
My name is Kendal Moody, and I'm 19, from the Glen of Mal in County Wicklow. And my music is best described as folk, country, popular. And I write all my material since I was the age of 14, and I've just always loved writing and music, and always knew this is what I wanted to pursue. So,
very nice. What were some of your first memories as a singer? And was there a particular artist you idolized at a young age?
Definitely my earliest memories of music would be watching Hannah Montana, I suppose, when I was about 7 or 8. And my biggest influence was Taylor Swift and her music, and how she could relate, her stories and her songwriting to actual life and what was happening with her. So that was definitely the biggest influential person, I suppose, when I was younger. So,
you know what? I interview a lot of artists, and a lot of artists, younger female generations, love Taylor Swift over in the UK. So Taylor Swift must be really, really, really popular and a great influence. From that age until now, how has your influencers in music changed, and who are your major influences currently?
To this day, I'd still say my biggest influence is Taylor Swift. I mean, it's funny, like you go from being 7 to the age I am now, which is 19, but it's almost like you live your life through what she has been through, in a way you kind of witness what she's been living through, and you can relate to each song as you get older, to past experiences, which is a really cool thing to say, and to be able to just live it. It's quite cool too. So I'd still say to this day my biggest influence is Taylor Swift. More recently, I suppose I've gone into more some of Joni Mitchell's material, and Ava Cassidy, who's also obviously passed away. I'm into that material as well.
So since the beginning of your music career, what kind of training have you been through to get to where you are now?
Yeah, so I started piano lessons when I was the age of 6, and I continued up 2 years of doing grades in piano. And then once I came to my first year of secondary school, I started guitar lessons with a local music program called Music Generation through guitar lessons. So I continued on then and started my voice training in classical singing at first with the Royal Irish Academy of Music, and completed up the grades as I went along. So I suppose my voice was trained classical first, and I've now kind of made the transition into folk popular and getting to write my own material and just perform that and record that and release that as well. So
I know you're currently on your 3rd level of music as a music student at MTU, the Cork School of Music. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So MTU is Ireland's most leading conservatoire of music. So it's based in Cork City, and it's a 4-year degree program that has multiple streams, I suppose, in music. So we have popular music, or you can have the classical side of music, musical theatre, and also film and drama studies. So it's a fantastic place to be, and just to pursue your passion, I suppose, in that kind of field of study and get to pursue that. It's a real surreal thing to do, so it's definitely the correct place to be.
And has your family always encouraged you to pursue a career in the music industry?
Yes, for sure. Well, I started piano lessons obviously when I was 6, so my mum was very supportive of my music since then. So I also used to do ballet classes when I was only small, so that was definitely something she pursued me to do and encouraged me to do. So and from then on, really, my love for music kind of, I suppose, flourished with my step-grandfather. He was really into music. He had his own band, and he when my granny passed away, I was only 6, turning 7, just before my birthday, and every time we came over to every weekend to my step grandfather's house, we used to play all the country music every weekend. So and we used to just sit and listen for hours, and then he'd say, you should sing maybe into the mic, and as I did, like he said afterwards, I think you should really pursue this and do what you want to do, because I feel you have real talent in it. So he's definitely been a very influential person as well.
That's very nice that you can take someone, that was an inspiration to you, and someone that was real close to you, being a family member, and idolizing that.
Yeah.
I mean, taking that and rolling with it. And you're doing some great music. I mean, let's talk about your performing a little bit. How would you describe your on-stage personality?
Yeah, so on stage, I suppose I'm definitely more comfortable with myself. The nerves just go away as compared to, I suppose, talking to people. But when you're on stage, you just become back into your own, and you get to just really, perform and be yourself. So I suppose my first big stage performance debut was back before pre-COVID in early 2020, and it was to open up the show for country music star Mike Denver, and also you had special guests Philomena Begley and Brendan Shine were also there on the night. So that was to an audience of 700. So that was my first, I suppose, big debut in terms of country music scene. So but as I said, like being on stage, it's just, you're coming into your own and you feel most comfortable there, and exactly that's where you're supposed to be. So
now that goes on tie with the next question. Would you rather perform in front of a big crowd or a smaller, intimate setting?
Yeah, well, either. I suppose like it's what I love is just getting my music out there and getting heard and meeting new people. And most recently I've had the opportunity to perform to a smaller audience in this place called the Wicklow Escape, which is in my home area of the Glen of Mal, and it was a really interesting experience because I'd say roughly an audience of 15 to 20 people would come every weekend and just sit and listen to my music and any songs I recently wrote or just in writing. So and just to hear their feedback was really amazing and encouraging, because I was just getting back into the scene after COVID. So it was a very special time, because you got to perform, I suppose, to a smaller audience, and in that way you get kind of more of an insight into what people like about your music and like about you, which was truly special.
That's very nice. A lot of these artists are just playing their music and getting their music heard. They're not really worried about what their fans think, and I think that's great being an artist, reaching out to your fans, knowing what they do like and what they like about you and your music. So that is very, very great. If you could perform anywhere with anyone, where would you perform and who would you perform it with?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd definitely say somewhere big in the US maybe, if I was to go international. But if I was to perform in Ireland, I would say the home place of the Glen of Mal, because I'm just surrounded by scenery and mountains and really fabulous place. But if I was to perform in the US, I would love to go to the big places of, Nashville or the Big Opry. And an artist I definitely have to perform with would be Taylor Swift. She's just been the most inspirational person from a very young age. So that would be a dream come true.
Well, I feel like your dream's going to be coming true. And I can see you one day being on the stage opening up for Taylor Swift.
Well, I hope so.
That would be a big dream, I'm sure. So, besides music, what are some of your favorite pastime activities, some hobbies or interests that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, well, as predominantly to music, I suppose, and singing, would definitely be writing my own material. From a very young age, I was into poetry writing and just writing, I suppose, of what would happen in your, day-to-day basis. But aside from that, I also love running as well, and I was very athletic when I was younger, so I kind of brought that into my later stage and just kind of kept that up. So I love running as well. So I wouldn't compete, obviously, but it's just a nice thing to do aside from pursuing your music career.
So talking a little bit more about writing and poetry, when you're writing your songs, do you relate them to your poetry, or?
I suppose they kind of come hand in hand. So when I'm writing my songs, I feel that it kind of has elements of poetry writing. So, you'd write about what you can relate to and something that has happened to you. So, and some, you know, as you write, you kind of may come across two lines that may rhyme, or so you kind of see a resemblance, I suppose, in poetry and songwriting. So they all kind of fall into the one for me, really.
So you wrote Scars of My Heart, and it released yesterday. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about your journey on writing that song.
Scars of My Heart was a single I wrote, I suppose, last year, and it's based on a personal experience. I write all my songs myself, so they're all the words, I suppose, you know, sing for themselves and write for themselves. But it's definitely, it was great to see, you know, it being released a year later, and it just feels like the right time to release it now, because although I may have wrote it a year ago, it still can connect to that. And although I'm a year, you know, onto the whole scene of music and where I am now in life, I can still relate to that now. So
give me 3 words that would describe your personality and why.
It's a tough one. I would say inquisitive, intrusive, probably thinker, and I suppose unique. Yeah, I would say unique. Why? Because I suppose I write differently, and would have a different side of writing music in my own way. So
fan interaction is an important part of being an artist and the most rewarding. Any stories you have about fans that have stood out to you? Maybe a first autograph story, or maybe a first time a fan noticed you in public?
Yeah, I wouldn't really say as such yet, as I'm just making my way in my career, but definitely I've always, you know, young children always look up to me. I definitely would say that, you know, you become the biggest inspiration when you choose to do something that you really want to follow. So I like to think that I can encourage them to pursue whatever they like to do. So young children definitely, most recently, might come up and say, you know, you're a lovely singer, or I like your new song that you put out. So that's always really encouraging to hear.
Lifts you up a little bit, you know, and makes you pursue, you know, other things. It kind of gives you that great feeling, you know, hey, I can do this, or hey, I can write more songs like this. So very, very rewarding. So tell us how you like to interact with your fans and what you have coming up here in the future, and where we can follow you as far as your music.
Yeah, so how I like to interact with my fans, I always like to, you know, encourage them to go after what they want to do and to keep following what they've set in their heart to do. And so upcoming next will be a new single, definitely in the next few weeks. So into the month of September with another music release, but first we'll have the music release for Scars of My Heart. And you can all keep track on that on my website at kendalmoody.com, and also all my socials, Kendal Moody Music.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much, Kendal, for taking time out of your day to interview with us here on the Unique Beatz platform. You're a great new addition to our lineup of artists, and we are honored to air your new song, Scars of My Heart, here on the Parker Radio Show. You can find out more about Kendal at kendalmoody.com for more updates and concert events.
Thank you. Thank you, Dasha.
This is D-Shot Renard, and you're listening to the Parker Radio Show. It's that home with the good stuff, home with the new music everybody wanna listen to, so tell me what you really gonna do. When we got DJ Parker on the ones and twos, D-Shot on the beat, so you know we can't lose. Check me out on Instagram at D-Shot Renard, and also check out D-Shot_1 on TikTok for some more daily raps and freestyles.